Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Daysi DIY. Today I'm sharing with you guys a beautiful Valentine's DIYs. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. For the first project, I'm going to be using one wood heart that I got from Dollar Tree, and here's the item number just in case if you guys need it. And to paint it, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color moss. I did one coat and I just let it dry. And once it's completely dry, what I did, I used the Waverly anti-wax just to distress it a little bit on the edges. And you guys can distress your pieces at the way that you guys want. And also, I didn't paint on the back because I was not pretty sure what to do with the heart when I was doing this project, to be honest. So I was thinking to do something different, but it turned out another project. So the other thing that I'm going to be using, this beautiful love heart that I found at my Dollar Tree, and I just removed one heart. And to paint it, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax, and I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I always love to use this piece of butt sponge because you don't use that much paint. It's really great to use it. I'm going to be using this wall decor piece, and I just removed that image. And you guys don't need to paint it because when I removed that image, it was already white. But on the edges, you guys can see the wood. So to fix that, I just used the Restore chalk paint and I just covered the edges and just on a few parts. I'm going to be creating lines. I just grabbed this painter stick and I just use it as a guide to do the lines, and it worked just perfect for me. Once I'm done creating the lines, I just grab a piece of paper towel and it's a little bit wet, and I just distress the lines a little bit, and it works amazing, this technique. And I decide to use again this anti-wax just to distress it a little bit on the wood piece on the top because it was a little bit light, the color. I didn't like it that much. And also I just went over on the edges of the sign too, so it can blend all together. You guys know that I love to distress my pieces all the time. And once it's completely dry, with the sandpaper I just went over to remove a little bit of the anti-wax, and it gives this finished look that I really love it. I'm gonna be using this wood glue in a combination with hot glue to glue the heart, and I just glue first the wood piece to the sign, and once I was done, I just placed the love heart on the top. And I didn't use wood glue, but I think it's better to use the wood glue for permanent hold. I think it's way better. And I just create this raffia bow that I made. It was just really simple bow, and I will show you at the end of the video how I created, just in case if you guys want to see how I do it. I didn't like it how it turned out, so I just create this messy bow with the different ribbons that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just place them all together, and with the piece of Juth twine I just tie it, and I just place that raffia bow on the top. And also I didn't show you the part, but I just placed one button in the middle because it was missing something else on the sign, but you guys can just leave it, have your preference. I think it turned out really beautiful, the sign. And like I said, I was not really confident on what was gonna do with this heart, and I think it turned out really beautiful. I love it. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about our first project? For the next project, I'm going to be using this wood holder that I got from Dollar Tree, and I got it this year. And to paint it, I'm going to be using the Waverly anti-wax, and I'm just using a piece of the butt sponge that I got from Dollar Tree as well. And I just cut one piece, And what I did, I just wet that sponge a little bit so it was more easy to paint this wood holder, and it worked amazing. And I just did one coat and I just let it dry. I just grabbed a piece of cardboard and I just grabbed one wood X and I just traced it because that wood X, they were a little bit small to place it inside of the wood holders. I just create them with the cardboard so they can be a little bit bigger. And to paint it, I'm gonna be using the Restore chalk paint. I just did one coat and I just let it dry, and also I just paint on the back so they can have a finished look. I just reused the same piece of foam that I removed from the other project, and I just placed it on the back of the X so they can have this 3D effect. And I'm just using hot glue to glue them, and I just placed first the X and the heart, and I didn't want to show you that part, but I didn't paint the heart on the back. Can you guys believe it? It was kind of late to do the project, so I'm like, oh, just leave them. I think it won't show on the back and it won't show, but it's hard to believe it I didn't paint it, because I always paint all my pieces so they can have really good finish on the back. And here's the part where I'm gonna show you how I create that raffia bows. I hope you guys can see how I create them. There's a few persons that they ask me to show every time when I'm creating the bows, so you guys can see and have an idea how I create it. I just want to put this part for you guys, and I hope you guys like it. And I create two beautiful raffia bows to place it on the top of the heart. And also I decide to use a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the anti-wax so it can show a little bit more of that wood, and it turned out really beautiful once I did this. And I didn't film this part because when I turned off the camera, an idea came out because my daughter, she was playing with this piece when I was done. So there was these wood cubes inside, and I was like, I think it would look really beautiful to put them just like a legs, and it turned out really beautiful. So with the same paint, the anti-wax, I painted, and I grabbed two pieces of the wood cubes and I just glued them together, and I just placed it on the bottom, and it turned out really beautiful. And I just placed one red button in the middle of that raffia bow because it was missing something else. And this is how it looks at project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love the color and everything. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next DIY, we're gonna be using this wood frame that I got from Dollar Tree. It's the first time that I see this wood frame, and I think they're really beautiful. I'm going to remove that piece of paper from the top, and also on the back of the frame, I'm going to use my scissors to cut the piece of this jute twine so we can remove these clothespins also. So the next thing, I'm going to be using this piece of paper that I had on hand. I just searched on Google for a free printable wallpaper, and I just printed. And once I was done, I'm gonna be using my wood frame to put it on the top, and with my pencil I'm just gonna start tracing it. And once I'm done, I'm gonna use my scissors to cut it. Also, I'm gonna be using this Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna do one coat to put it on the top of the frame so we can put our image. And I'm just using this small brush that I got from Dollar Tree, and once I was done, I just placed that image on the top, and with my hands I just just trying to smooth the paper a little bit. So with this, I just use it to poke the little holes that it had the frame so we can put that piece of jute twine. And once I was done, I decided to use another coat on Mod Podge to put it on the top to seal it. The next thing, we're just gonna remove this from the clothespin so we can start painting it. So to paint it, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm gonna be using this small brush that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna do one coat and I'm just gonna let it dry. Also, I'm gonna be using this metal heart that I had on hand. It's from a sign that I had from Dollar Tree, and I just remove it. So what I decided to do, I use the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax to distress it a little bit, and once I was done, I just let it dry. Also, I'm using this small heart that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just used the same paint, and once I was done, I just used this small piece of paper to remove a little bit of the paint. So you guys can see I'm just using hot glue to glue it. I will recommend you guys to use it 6000 because it didn't work out. It came out really easy. So I will recommend you guys to use it 6000. So I decided to put a small bow in the middle. I just created with a piece of jute twine that I got from Dollar Tree. So once I was done, we're just gonna put everything together. So you guys can see I'm just placing 2 clothespins, and I just glue the small piece of jute twine really well on the back of the frame. And once I was done, I just placed the heart in the middle, and this is how it looks once you're done. If you guys want, you guys can just leave it the way it is. I think it turned out really beautiful, but I decided to do one more step. So I'm gonna be using 2 craft sticks that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna be using my pencil to mark it at the side that I needed to cut it. So once I cut one, I just use it as a template to cut the other one, and I just use my scissors to cut it. The next thing, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm just gonna do one coat and I'm just gonna let it dry. So to paint it, I'm using a small piece of this bud sponge. I'm gonna do the same step with the other one. Also, I'm gonna be using this flexible stencil that I got from Dollar Tree, and to hold the stencil, I'm using a small piece of painter's tape that I got from Dollar Tree as well. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white, and I just did 2 coats and I just let it dry. And to paint it, I'm using this small brush from Dollar Tree as well. So once it's completely dry, I just remove the stencil, and to glue it, I'm just gonna use hot glue. But if you guys want a stone hole, I would recommend you guys to use wood glue. So you guys can see I just placed the 2 wood craft sticks right here on the edges of the frame. I didn't measure anything, I just kind of eyeball it. The next thing, I'm gonna be using these thumbtacks that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna need 4 in total. So with my plier, I decided to cut the pointy part all the way, and once I was done, I'm just gonna use hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I really love it so much, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For the next project, I'm going to be using the other side of the wood house, and also I'm going to be using this gift wrap that I got at TJ Maxx, and I got it on Christmas. So I'm just going to use a small piece, and I'm just going to place my wood house on the top, and with my pencil I'm going to start tracing the wood house. And once I was done, I just used my scissors to cut it. Once we're done, I'm going to be using this Mod Podge that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just using this small brush that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just did one coat and I just put that image on the top. And also I decided to use one coat of Mod Podge on the top. The next thing we're going to be doing, we're just going to start recreating hearts with cardboard. So for that, I'm using this chalkboard tags that I got from Dollar Tree as a template. So I decided to do this step for you guys because not all of us has this Dollar Tree that they carry all the stuff that we need. So I just wanted to create it for you guys with something easy that everybody can have on hand. So what I did, I just used my pencil to mark the heart, and once I was done, I just used my scissors to cut it, and this is how it looks once they're completely done. And to paint it, I'm using the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white that I got from Amazon, and also I'm gonna be using this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm just gonna use it to distress the heart. So you guys can see I'm not painting the heart all the way because I want the cardboard to show a little bit. So once I was done, I decided to paint the edges of the heart, and I did the same step with the small one. And also I'm gonna be using this Waverly chalk paint on color anti-wax, and I'm just gonna use it to distress the heart. So I'm just doing first the edges, and once I was done, I just painted a little bit the inside. Also, I decided to use the same paint to distress it a little bit the top of the wood house, but I didn't use a lot, so you guys can see it was just a little bit. So you guys can see on the edges of the wood house, it still had a little bit of extra paper. So to fix that, I just used my sandpaper and I just sanded very well, and I just removed this extra paper. And once I was done, I just started gluing everything together, and to glue it, I just used hot glue. The next thing, I'm gonna be using this jute twine that I got from Dollar Tree. So I just want to show you, you guys can just wrap the jute twine a few times the wood house, and you just use hot glue to glue it on the back, and you guys are done. I cannot do that because I just used the other side for the other project that I just create. So what I did, I just cut 3 small strands of the jute twine, and I just used hot glue to glue it. And with the remaining piece, I just used my scissors to cut it. And also I decided to create this small bow to put it on the middle. I just used the same jute twine. Also, I'm gonna be using this berry mix that I got from Walmart, and I'm just using this piece of the greenery, and I just cut it on half, and I just place it right here on the side of the bow. And to glue it, I just use hot glue. Also, I decided to paint it the greenery a little bit. So to paint it, I used the Rust-Oleum chalkboard paint on color white. I just used a little bit of paint, and to paint it, I just used this small brush. The next thing, I'm gonna be using this lavender picks that I got from Walmart, and I'm just using this part of the greenery to put it right here on the side. I just cut small pieces to put it, and I just use hot glue to glue it. And this is how it looks, our project. I just love everything about this project, but please, like I always mention, let me know in the comments down below what do you guys think about this other project. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using these love wood letters that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove just that tag. And also, I'm going to be using this free printable that I found on Google. If you guys have any scrapbook page, you guys can use it. I'm just using what I had on hand, and I'm just going to be using my pencil to trace it first so we can cut it. So my image, it was a little bit smaller, and it was really easy to fix. I just grabbed the remaining piece of the image, and I just traced the letter E. So once I was done, I thought I was recording, but by mistake I was not. But don't worry, you guys see me lots of times how I place my image into the pieces. It was really easy. First, I did one cut on Mod Podge on the letters, and I just placed that image. And once I was done with the brush, I just tried to smooth a little bit if it has any wrinkles, and I just did another cut on Mod Podge, and I just put it to the side and let it dry completely. I just want to show you on the edges. It had like extra paper from the image, and I always just grab a piece of sandpaper and I just remove that extra paper. I'm going to be using a few pieces of the painter sticks that I always had on hand. I never throw these pieces away because I'm always thinking I can do something else and I can reuse them. So today is the day that I'm going to reuse these pieces. So I just grabbed 3 pieces. I didn't cut them like I said, I just had it at that side. So to paint it, I'm using the Waverly anti-wax. I just did 1 coat and I just let it dry. And once we're done painting the painter sticks, I decide with the same piece of bad sponge just to distress the letters a little bit. For me, I didn't like how they look, so I just used a little bit of the paint. But if you guys don't love to distress your pieces, don't worry, you guys can just be done with your project. But I always love to distress my pieces. So once they're completely dry, the pieces, I'm gonna grab a piece of sandpaper just to remove a little bit of the paint so it can show the wood a little bit and the edges. I just want to show you the difference between the 2 pieces. It turned out really beautiful. It gives so much detail to the wood pieces. I just love it. And I did the same step with the other 2 pieces. I just placed the 3 pieces on the back of the heart. My pieces, they were a little bit smaller, so that's the reason why I just used my pencil just to trace it a little bit more so I can guide from those lines to place the wood pieces on the back. And I just use hot glue to glue it, but I think it's better to use wood glue for permanent hold. Also on the back, to reinforce it a little bit more, I just use more hot glue, and that's the only thing that I did for this project. If you guys want, you guys can hang this beautiful love sign on your wall, or you guys can use just a wreath. I think it will look really beautiful on the top of the wreath, and just place it like in your front door or inside of your house. I think it will look beautiful too. And this is how it looks at project once we're done. It turned out really beautiful. I love the color and everything, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project? For our next DIY, I'm gonna be using this beautiful wood jar that I got last year. If you guys want, you guys can use the back of that jar to do this project, but I decided to remove that image. So with this pocket knife, I just tried to score a little bit on the bottom part where it has the lid. The lid is made of this burlap, so I really love it how it looks on the top of the jar. So that's the reason why I didn't want to remove the lid. And to paint it, I'm gonna be using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint on color white. I did 1 coat and I just let it dry. Also, I decided to use a piece of this painter's tape just to cover the bottom part of the lid because I didn't want to paint it all the way, but in the end I didn't like it how it turns out because it didn't blend very well once I paint the jar. So I'm like, let's distress it a little bit so it can blend all together. I'm going to create some lines on the top of the jar, and for that I'm just going to be using this painter stick, and it was really easy for me to create the lines because I didn't measure anything. I just marked the lines twice, and once I was done I just grabbed a piece of paper towel, and my paper towel it's a little bit wet, and I just went over on the top just to distress the lines a little bit, and it works amazing. This technique, it's way better to distress the lines. Also, I decided to use this Waverly anti-wax just to give more distressed look to the jar. I just love to start first on the edges, and once I'm done I just go inside and put a little bit of the paint, and once I like the way that I distress my jar, I just let it dry for a little bit, and I go over on the top with a piece of sandpaper just to remove and blend the two colors together. It turns out really beautiful once we do these steps. And I know there's a lot of people that they don't love to distress their pieces, but I do love to, and that's the reason why I always do different techniques. I'm gonna be using this nautical rope that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just cut a piece and I just place it on the top, and I just start creating a heart, and I just use hot glue to glue it. I see the video and I'm like, I think it's way easy to trace first a heart and use that nautical rope all around. I think it's way easy. I just did the hard way, and I didn't like it very well because my heart, it was not all the way in the middle. Also, I'm gonna be using the other type of this nautical rope, and I just place it inside, and it was more easy to place it. I create this beautiful raffia bow to place it on the middle, and I think it will look really beautiful to put in the middle, like just one button. Also, I just grabbed this metal love and I just place it, and it turned out really beautiful. I love it. I just reused the same hanger so we can hang this beautiful jar. If you guys want, you guys can use like a piece of that plant hanger. If you guys want to, you guys can cover the holes too, and just put like a few pieces of jingle blocks on the back so it can stand up the piece. But please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this other project? For the next project, I'm gonna be using a piece of this calendar that I got this year, and I'm just gonna be cutting this piece. I just grab a piece of cardboard and I create one heart. I'm gonna be using this Mod Podge, and I just did one coat and I just placed the image on the top, and also the image I just cut it at the shape of the heart also. If you guys want, you guys can do another cut on Mod Podge in the top. And once it's completely dry, I decide to use this jute twine just to give a finished look on the edges of the heart, because you guys know that I just used a piece of cardboard and I didn't like it how it looks. And also when I was done, I decided to do another layer of the jute twine so it can be a little bit thick, and it turned out really beautiful. Once we're done, we're just gonna place the heart on the middle, and I'm just reusing the same cutting board that I create on my channel, and I will link it down in my description box below so you guys can see step by step what I did. And I just create another beautiful raffia bow and with another piece of jute twine, and I just create another bow and I just put them in the middle, and also I just placed another button, and it turned out really beautiful. I love it, and it was missing a few pieces of the other type of greenery, and I just grabbed a few pieces that I have, and it turned out really beautiful. This cutting board, I've been reusing it for a few projects that I already create for you guys, and I think it was really easy and simple to do. And this is how it looks our project once we're done. I really love it so much, but please let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this project?
So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I upload a video. And please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.